Correction, it's Patrick. He's been amassing quite the collection of iPhone 3G and 3GS cases just in time for the release of the iPhone 4.
And the price drop on the 3GS.
I know, won't these all be kind of irrelevant?
Well, there's still millions of
That's
3G
true.
and 3GSs out there.
Of course.
And this actually will give you an idea of what you're looking at when the iPhone 4 cases come out from these. Actually, most of these manufacturers, I'm sure, will be rapidly producing iPhone 4th generation cases.
All right, well, let's see what you got here from this looks like most tank-like to most small in form factor.
I got to say one thing about one of these first. This whole sort of crazed collection all started with me tweeting about Magpul's iPhone field case. It's $10. You guys went nuts online. Magpul makes accessories for AR-15s, M4s, basically modern sporting rifles, semi-automatics, and it's a semi-rigid rubber case. It's designed to look like a PMag, a polymer magazine.
Bulletproof, is it?
No, sadly it's not. Although if anybody was going to do a bulletproof iPhone case, it may be the guys at Magpul, because they decided basically they want to make it better, and they've delayed the release until later this year. That was kind of interesting because they give you cutouts so you can decide whether or not you want to expose the ports on it, which actually gives it a little more protection against dirt and grit and water. And they actually have a little recess for the reset pin that comes with the iPhone if you want to actually be able to pop it in the field and fix things. Bomb-proof, incredibly not jeans pocket friendly. The Pelican I1015, the iPhone case, $21. It's airtight, it's waterproof, it's crush-proofed. It's got cable management built in. Basically, there's a little slot on the side, and you can actually wrap your earbuds down around the base of that one.
It looks like a tiny little Pelican case. It's so cute.
It is a tiny little Pelican case. The big caveat is that basically you can start things, you can play things, you can listen to things, especially if you have like a Bluetooth earbud. You cannot use the screen as long as the
whole touch screen
aspect of it.
Situation.
If you can find one for sale, they're getting pretty hard to find. The OtterBox 2600 isn't as crush-proof, but it has a polymer membrane here that can actually use the touchscreen through, and otherwise is pretty airproof and waterproof. So right now I'm snapping my iPhone into the OtterBox Defender. It's a pretty bomb-proof case, right? It's not waterproof, but you basically wrap your iPhone in an interior plastic case, and that's your first layer of protection. That gets snapped into, literally, like there's all these little inserts, slot tab A into slot B, and it all wraps around.
Wow.
There's covers for all the individual ports to help keep water or dust out, and everything snaps into place. And you have this pretty secure container that is probably, I would hope, strong enough to endure even me, because you've got rubber and plastic and a huge amount of plastic protecting the screen and a built-in screen protector on this. And they want to remind you to not carry it with the iPhone out, because then you expose yourself to running into the corner of desks and cubicles, but with the case in and get your nerd on hanging off of your belt. That's probably the most practical day-to-day carrier if you actually want to use your screen. Although I got to say, the next one I'm going to show you really quick, the Speck Tough Skin. Hold that thing up. It looks really floppy, right?
Yeah, doesn't feel too sturdy.
What's crazy is as you
anyway.
wrap that thing around the phone, it ends up tightening up and being incredibly solid and actually feels really good in the hands. It's not quite as much protection as the Defender, but you're talking about $20 to $35 online. And I should also point out that online, the prices on these vary insanely. But there's a two-piece case. The plastic case goes over, the rubber case locks into place, and it is surprisingly robust once it's all put together. One really cool thing about this one, whoops, where's the case for this one, is that it has a stand built into the holster.
Oh, nice.
So it's not just a holster, but it actually is a holster in a stand. So if you're sitting on the plane or something like that, you can completely get your nerd on without using your hands.
Very cool.
A little more fashionable is the fine folks at Speck, the candy shells. These are 20 to 30 bucks depending on where you're shopping. It's silicone in the inside with a hard plastic wrap. The corner is allowed to give a little compression or bumper if you're dropping it. It has a nice amount of protection over the screen. And actually, it's shockingly good protection. I was a little surprised. Banging things around, it looks like it'd keep things good. Like all of these, it's sort of prone to being subject to the direct drop on a pointy rock problem. OtterBox Commuter, not my favorite product from OtterBox. It's essentially a silicone wrap and a secondary plastic wrap that rounds that, but apparently one of their most popular cases, so people really like these for day-to-day. Much more pocket-friendly than the larger OtterBox devices. These sell for 20 to 35 bucks, and I will say it's nice to have port protection built into a case. The Incipiosil Acrylic, this one's actually pretty crazy. You've got the two-piece case. You drop your iPhone into here, and if you drop it in the right way, you can actually use the buttons. So it feels, I think this is one of those cases that's going to get a little munged up in your bag. I think it's going to be subject to dirt gathering if you're not careful. But I did like the way they set up the protection on the corners for the plastics. You've got extra protection on the corners, and not a huge amount, but a decent amount of wrap around the edges of the iPhone. By far the easiest one to assemble, the Incase Slider. They have what they call the rubber bumpers on the back, and I thought it was going to be like rubber lined on the inside. Probably not the most shock-proof case, but certainly the easiest one to assemble. Two pieces you slide together, you've got a pretty good amount of protection on the edge of the screen, which is where a lot of the brakes start, and it comes with a kickstand. And if you turn it around the right way, it even works the way it's supposed to. The Spec Fitted, another case here from Spec. Basically another two-piece case. I expected this one to actually sort of fly open and disintegrate as soon as it was dropped because, again, it's pretty easy to assemble. You turn the case around the right way, and I like that. I gotta say, this one had kind of the best feel of the texture on the back, so there's like a fabric embedded on it. And wait, if it's assembled properly, it won't pop open like it just did. And well, maybe over time it does start to disassemble if you drop it on the corners. You hold that one, I'm gonna stop dropping and beating on my phone. Finally, one last one. Let me steal your phone again real quick. iSkin Solo, 10 bucks. The flexible, slim-fitting bodysuit, which is a mouthful for any advertising. But essentially, it's a bit of silicone-ish rubber. I think it's silicone, some kind of polymer that wraps around your phone and gives you a decent amount of protection. And this one, actually, they have a ton of colors available on that one, which is really nice, including the basic black with microbrand antimicrobial protection.
You can see my lovely little Tekzilla gel skin underneath.
Yay! So I got to say, I really like the ones that actually wrap the entire phone in silicone and plastic and hard plastic. It seems like they're going to be the most bomb-proof. Although I'm really looking at the Spec or the OtterBox Defender for my daily carry.
I think this might have to be the one you use. Just clip it onto your belt, you'll be good to go. We don't have to worry about you breaking any more phones.
I need something where I can at least pretend to be able to use both thumbs.
That's true. Good point.